first order of business is citizens' time, and Linda Myers has signed up. She'd like to speak to two subjects, I assume.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen. I won't belabor this. However, you also know how the region is faring, losing 200 Norfolk Southern jobs and so on, and I'm sure that has an impact somewhat on Wicks County. The economy is stymied, as you know, and a whole bunch of people are very upset that you guys, once again, spent $23,000 on a video system for here. We all feel that it could have been done a lot cheaper. The second item is also, and I'd like to hand these out, this is information about national heritage areas that we've got. Today in Virginia, we have 900,000 acres of open space, and that's a figure compiled by the Virginia Outdoors Association. We have more in state private entities, more than any other state private entity or land trust. The federal government owns enough property to equal 21 states. The Crooked Road is a pork barrel cash cow, and the National Historic designation is not needed here or most anywhere. There are several articles out now, one in the New American, it's in the Canadian Free Press, the Federal Observer, Liberty News Online, the Tree of Liberty, that this act is a bureaucratic nightmare that unfairly penalizes private companies. And that information is in the Encyclopedia of the Government and the Environment, History, Policy, and Politics. I'm hoping, I don't see this on your agenda as in unfinished business, but I'm hoping that you will take it up and be opposed to any National Historic Area designation for our 19 counties, which of course includes Wicks County, and protect the residents and their private property rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is J.D. Hancock, who would like to speak to us about the rescue squad.
Good morning, how are you all?
Good morning. How are you today?
Actually, just kind of bearing a gift. I work with my force, he was a great resource to us. I've also been working with Bruce Grant, going over the financial. One thing that I want you to know about this, of course, our board of directors internally have looked at it and approved it, but this document will never be 100% finished, so that's why we went ahead and put it together. We're going to give it to you now. But as we move forward, as we continue to look at data, we don't want this to be a book that we just put on our shelf and never look at it again. We want our business plan to be something that we look at as often as we can to be sure that we're moving forward. So I have a copy for everybody. I'm not really here to present it today. What we'd like to do is get a meeting with the task force or someone to actually answer your questions. So I will meet with the whole board if you'd like. I want to make sure that you have time to look over it so we can find something. If you have any questions or concerns, my card is on there, and I'll get with either you or Mr. Grant for the meeting as well. If anybody's got any questions about the rescue squad, you heard anything good, bad, indifferent?
Heard nothing, so that's good, I guess.
That's good, I guess. Thank you all very much.
Is there any other citizens that would like to speak? No one else has signed up.
I would, please.
All right, Sam.
Morning. Later on today in your board package, you're going to be approving some personnel changes. A lot of it's due to the early retirements and that we had. What I'd like to address is when Ms. Smith left, she was a fully funded comp board position. And I worked at the comp board, and I got Mrs. Fisher moved into Ms. Smith's position at a minimum rate, which is the low rate of her position, with an out-of-band promotion. And the remaining of the comp board funds of $1,380 were approved by the comp board to give Ms. Repass an in-band pay adjustment of $1,381. I'm requesting that y'all also approve Ms. Repass's pay raise that the comp board's already approved. This early retirement's put a lot of stress on the ladies that are still in our office, having to pick up the workload that Linda and Beth did. So it's really put a strain on them some. training for the new people has really been minimal because they didn't get to start until the 1st of September. And that's one of our busy times dealing with getting the tax ticket ready to go out. So we didn't have a lot of time to do any training for them yet, but we're getting a little bit done. Things have changed with the comp board from what they used to be. When the comp board used to give a pay raise, counties were required by state code to match it. But since the comp board's passed so much responsibility back to localities, they've relaxed that requirement of matching those funds. So out of the $1,381, we're talking about $690 of county money to match that $1,381. And that's been disapproved by SLL, so I hope that when y'all approve those, you'll think seriously about maybe approving that for Ms. Repass also. The comp board has already approved it and got it in the budget, their money, you know. But I just like what you think, $690 of county money go a long way as far as morale goes, I think, in the office. You know, that's all I just want to say. Think about approving that for Ms. Repass. Thank you.
Okay, that comes up under, budget amendments, or?
Consent calendar.
Consent calendar. Okay, consent calendar, okay.
But she's not in there.
You what?
There's not a thing in there for Ms. Repass.
I know, but, I mean, we're gonna talk about
Oh,
this
okay.
during consent
I
calendar.
just wanted to use-
Want to speak, and it gives Mr. Horny time to get here also, you may have an issue. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I guess, Ms. Myers about the National Heritage. I actually called, I think it was last week, to see if he responded. We were gonna get the answers to our questions, the one Mr. Housman asked, the one, but they don't have the answers to those questions until they do. I informed him that it would not be a subject that we discuss or act upon any request that they had until we had the answers to those questions.
I will move to the next order on the agenda, which is the minutes of a previous meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the October 9th, 2012 minutes that you'd like us to do? If not, can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second. Been moved and second. Last chance? Seeing none? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We will now move to payment of the invoices.
Mr. Chairman, we have laid on your desk a revision to the Wood County check register, the last page. Check number 300-83076 in the amount of $2,162 is postage feeder. Accounts payable person is going to be off a few weeks in the hospital. We've been notified through the electoral board and some others, registrar, that they need to send out some postage. So we finished that with the check, and we asked that y'all allow that to be inserted into the package replacing page 13.
Gentlemen, I think you have a copy of that, page 13 here. Anyone have a question concerning that? This is for the electoral board registrar because of the election coming up.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve of the amendment.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Not discussion, but that one thing, just a little bookkeeping thing. Down here at the bottom, I've noticed the last few times that where it says total all checks runs into the amount. Could we get that fixed?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, that was a little bit.
Anybody else? All right, call for a roll call vote. Mr. Hall?
Aye.
And aye, 601 absent. We'll move to unfinished business. And the first order on the unfinished business is the water tank bid for Speedwell Water, Phase 1.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, as we were preparing close the Speedwell Phase 1 water project. One of the items in the package rural development requested, they could not find in our minutes where we had approved the bid to Mid-Atlantic Storage in the amount of $389,550. I request that you approve that bid.
It's from Mid-Atlantic Storage, $389,550.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll do it.
Second. Any discussion? Mr. Roberts?
Aye.
And aye. 601 absent. Is there any other unfinished business, Mr. Dalton?
Yes, sir. I laid on your desk a copy of the Wicks County Public Schools Capital Improvement Plan, the cost estimate that the superintendent sent to me last month. We will need to, today sometime, set a work session with the school board. I think next week, any day except Monday's acceptable. I think you're gone until Wednesday.
Coming back Wednesday.
So, Thursday or Friday of next week, most logical time. My understanding, the school board itself will not, they have appointed a committee, Mr. Kidd, superintendent and others.
Mr. Dalton, I have a commitment for Thursday and Friday. The commitment for Thursday doesn't start till noon. Could we set this for Thursday morning?
Now, that'd be correct. November the 1st.
November the 1st?
Are we gonna have the economic development meeting that morning?
Next week there is economic development the following.
First
The
Thursday,
Thursday after
full
the
week.
first Tuesday.
Okay.
I'll call Halloween week, the 5th week of the month, which has no meeting.
What time would be?
Well,
Chairman McDaniel likes the 7 o'clock.
I can do them. I didn't say I like them.
well, obviously, Mr. Horny can't get here till like 9:15 or 9:30. That's the bus ride. So 9:30.
9:30. On November 1.
Is that gonna be here at the school?
It will be here. I just look at this, it appears that we started with 2 schools, we have now 4.
Yeah. Phase 1, 2, and 3 got put on here, I think.
So I looked back carefully. The other issue is, I handed y'all a set of plans. You need to be prepared to discuss those plans and comments on that day.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. We will move on now to reports. And the first one is Mr. Crockett. Sam?
I didn't print you all off an extra revenue statement, well, that much on it yet, so I didn't print one off. Currently in our consolidated account report, we're at $48,893,000. In our general fund, it's $21,670,000, so money-wise, pretty good there. And then our collections to date on our taxes we send out, we're at $1,370,000 we've collected. We get a lot of mail in, and that's good. The mail keeps coming in every day. So,
In your experience,
Hopefully
about
they-
where we normally are?
yeah, pretty much so, yeah. We always have the early payers that come in, and the elderly people come in and pay, and luckily we get checks. We won't get big money for the last couple of weeks.
My question to you is always, did you keep that deal on the credit card, no charges?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
No charge, no charge. Last year, we did over $1 million with credit cards last year.
What's the deal if anybody gets any kind of money back?
And plus, it helps us on people, a lot of people call from out of state, rather than do it on the telephone, and that's really made a big difference. We did a lot of payments on the telephone. In fact, that last week, we had to keep somebody sitting there on the telephone with credit cards. Usually that last week, because we just do a lot of them. Works out good for us. We're very fortunate to have that deal with the bank. It's really awesome. Any else got any questions?
Right.
Thank you.
Commissioner, you're not on the agenda. Did you want to speak?
No, I don't have anything.
How about you, Sheriff?
I'm good,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, that's debatable, I think.
Oh, Mr. Dalton, wait a minute.
Well, I didn't bring my glasses this morning.
The only question I had is the county attorney sent you agreement, was that good enough?
Was that email? I had to spend yesterday.
The sheriff
He had on my
received
back.
Sheriff, if you want to read over that and then raise your hand when you're ready, I'll bring you back up to the agenda.
You won't bear
Hey, we may have to hurry. You're not that boat by yourself, trust me.
You're still in the way.
Okay, thank you.
All right, supervisor report, and we'll start with Black Lake.
We met,
Thank you, Sal.
was it last Thursday? With the, last Thursday, the task force met with the rescue captains. You know, as part of this thing that we were going through to replace the Fire and Rescue Association, we met with the 3 rescue captains, and we thought that the meeting was productive. Basically, what we did was we went down through the recommendations that we had adopted, and talked about those. And then, as we did that, we picked up a lot of information that I didn't know that was useful information to us about where to go to get training and that sort of thing, which will give us some important information to share with WCC as we look at using them as a regional training center. And then we gave each rescue squad an opportunity just to talk about what was going on in their squads, what they were having trouble with, what was going well, and that sort of thing. And each one took an opportunity. And JD, I know that you're the only one here, but I'll tell you, we appreciate what Wood County Rescue has done. JD talked to us about the business plan and working with Mike Forrest and the changes that they've made, and they have all been, some have not been easy decisions, and some have not been easy changes, but they have done everything moving forward into a more positive atmosphere. And JD, I'll just publicly thank you all for what you've done, because I think you would agree that you all are getting on the right track and everything is going much better. That's the biggest thing that I guess that I have. But it was a productive meeting. The next one will be with the fire chiefs, and in all honesty, my schedule's kind of been so up in the air and everything. I haven't scheduled one with them yet, but we'll do that. The same type format, and then on down the road, after we've done a few meetings, we probably will start maybe meeting together every once in a while, maybe every other meeting or something like that. So it's an evolving process, but it seems to be going pretty well.
West Whitfield?
Just myself and Supervisor Reeves attended a meeting last week about the downtown revitalization project. There's some grant money that I believe went through the town of Whitfield. there were several merchants there that are on downtown, that have businesses in downtown. We have some representatives from the town. We represent the county. They're not asking us for any funding, just some support. And some really interesting data was presented about the community and people that are using businesses downtown, people are using businesses out of the downtown side, that I thought was very interesting. Tim may comment on as well during this time. But my plan is to stay connected to that and let them know that we, as a county, we support those efforts. And if there's any other news, I'll bring that to you.
For Chisholm?
VDOT is completing a couple of road improvement projects. Striping has been completed south and east of the railroad to Gun Park. That's safety improvement. They've completed putting up a delineator at the school to keep the bus from falling in a hole. And I'd like to ask if we can get some help on dust control for Major Grimm's Road, because big events happening at the mansion because of Halloween. And the folks on that road are really having a dust problem with a increased amount of traffic.
I can attest to that. My daughter went to that function, and I took her car out and had to wash it the next day. She was like, somebody just poured dust all over. I know the citizens. And we discussed that and called VDOT about that. Did they not do that yet, or anything, you know?
Well, they did about a month and a half ago. I went to Southern States and got a couple of bags and went over to Mr. Bishop's house and got there 20 minutes after VDOT had been there. But that one little shot goes away if the motor goes through and pulls new dirt up on the road, and then the amount of traffic is pretty big during these holiday or when they're having a function down there. And I'd ask Mr. Dalton to write to Weaver and see if we could regenerate some interest in him doing revenue sharing to get that road surface treated and make that problem go away.
We talked about that, didn't we, Mr. Dalton? That is, thank you. Dave Knight.
Oh, thank you, Supervisor. Reeves and I, we attended school on that. They just thought this wasn't to set a date to meet with the school quarters. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Steve?
I don't believe I have anything.
I haven't even had road complaints. That's good, ain't it? Tim?
Again, you know, me and Artie attended the downtown revitalization meeting, and I plan on being active in that and continue with that. And other than that, in our board package, you see the drivers from District 3. They sent a picture out of their safety record and stuff. I think we have a good bunch in this county and Bland that transport our senior citizens and other people around that unfortunately don't have a vehicle and stuff. And, a good bunch of drivers. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I'll report that Artie and I, we had a 7 o'clock meeting with the town of Whitfield, and I think it was very successful. We talked about a lot of issues from 4th of July fireworks to the lease at the jail and 911, and everything was very positive. Where are we with that lease now?
I'm drafting, adding the 911
911
to it, yeah.
That's all I have.
Well, may I add one thing?
Sure.
I've got is, last Thursday evening, they, we had a meeting at the, Redmond's Fire Department. Corey was coming and got called away at the last minute, for a wreck. But that was a meeting about the community revitalization in, what was it, Slabtown. And there were several residents there, and very much, you know, in favor of the improvements because it's a whole community revitalization. We're looking at water lines, road improvements, even improvements in homes if people, based on income, you know, through grants, might be able to help upgrade, you know, people's homes. And it was a very good meeting, very you know, very positive. So I, you know, forgot about that.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to you earlier, Dalton said he chaired that and went real well, so.
Yeah, he can share the rest of it.
All right, we'll go to the Building and Grounds Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Building and Grounds Committee met on October 16th, had 3 items of business to amend and appropriate $1,066 for purchase of additional equipment needed for the boardroom. That was approved and recommended.
All right, it's coming from the committee, it does not need a second. Is there any discussion? I would like to say that I've had just the opposite of what Mrs. Myers said. Mrs. Myers, and I don't know if we're not talking to the same people, I know, but I've had several people complimenting us for doing this after it came out in the enterprise. So it goes, I'm sure there's people both ways, but I have had several compliments. I don't know if other board members have. We're trying to be as open as we possibly can be. Okay. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Hall? And aye. 7-0. Thank you.
Item 2, approve change order number 11 with the county office building project in the amount of $20,478.82. Mr. Bear gave us a rundown of where we are budget-wise, lengthy discussion about this, and it is recommended by the committee.
Mr. Bear, can you give us a quick synopsis of?
This change order, or just the change order, there's basically 3 items on 1 or 2 pull stations for the fire alarms, which is about $3,400. Moving a humidifier that's off an emergency panel to get the load underneath the generator at $600. And then moving a duct heater to the switchboard rather than an emergency panel at $16,000. So that's the 3 things that make up this change order.
All right, you've heard a motion from the committee. Are we ready to vote? This morning? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Thank you.
And the third item is to accept Superior Asphalt's maintenance bid in the amount of $10,300 to seal the parking lots at the county complex. This needs to be done to maintain the integrity of the asphalt in place. It is accepted and recommended by the committee.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Hall? Aye. Thank you, Mr. Hale. We'll move to the Water Committee.
This says we met on October the 18th, but I think it was actually the 16th. And the Water Committee made the following recommendations. Recommends approval of alternative number 2 for the Barron Springs Water Extension Project for the proposed water tank located off, how do you pronounce that? Swecker Town Road, okay. Gas record, that's what it looks like.
Any discussion concerning this? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Hall? And aye, 7-0.
Second recommendation is recommends finalizing the preliminary engineering report with alternative number 2 for the Exit 24 wastewater project as the selected option.
see, where is exit 20? Off of City. I was thinking 81, I think, gosh, okay.
Yeah, we're going
I figured we was going way down the road. I couldn't understand that. That's why I was trying to figure out where 24 is.
Sorry, wrong interstate.
Wrong interstate, okay. Any more discussion concerning this?
I'd like a little clarification, probably my fault, but I'm out of the loop on what that involved. What does that report tell us? So,
The report is providing the cost estimate, initial cost estimate, the package treatment plant on Shorts Creek, serving the interchange area plus the old Route 52 area, which will open up that whole area that's visible from Interstate 77 for public sewer and water. Public water's already there.
and it also served Jackson School.
No. Does not.
Any other questions? All right, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Horny?
Huh?
And aye, thank you. 7-0.
And the third thing was to grant an additional 30 days to connect at the reduced rate to those on the Blissful to Rural Creek Water Project. I don't remember the exact number, but there were very few that hadn't connected. Some of them, we thought there was reasons why they hadn't, that we just need to give them another 30 days.
My only question about this is, maybe we should make this permanent for other, when we go to other sections, because if you give 130 days, what you ought to, from here on out, make the, does that be possible, or?
Well, this specific case, they actually came in and paid their connection fees, 2 of them, but there was a third one that they needed to pay.
I think it was just an oversight.
Oversight.
Okay. Plus, in this case too, there is another one that it's a situation where there's only one survivor left, and that person may very well be in the home, and the county's had, they send out, but it's having problems getting in touch with who's responsible for that.
Well, I just think the board just ought to keep this cognizant in their mind, another, we can do the same thing.
Well, unless I'm mistaken, I think we've done it in the past that way, haven't we? But I mean, you gotta have a,
You gotta have a cutoff.
You gotta have a cutoff
Yeah,
date.
I understand that.
And if you add 30 more days to everybody else's from now on, then you'll end up adding 30 more days after that.
We're taking individual.
Yeah.
Okay, I can about it. Mr. Hall? And aye, thank you. We will now move to the budget committee.
The budget committee met on October the 18th and recommends the following. One, to accept the 2012 local stormwater program grant in the amount of $33,842 and to amend and appropriate the same.
Is there any discussion? I'll call for
If I
it.
may.
Mr. Dalton, okay.
Well, we are accepting that, and it is a mandate to have this program in place no later than July 1st of 2014. Well, the $33,000 is a nice offer. We asked for $100,000. They're funding a third of what we think we need, and this is a one-time deal that will not fund the future cost of implementation of this mandated program for the state of Virginia, which will probably run in excess of $100,000 a year. Just, while it's nice to accept it, and we have to do it, we don't have any choice. It only covers 33% or less of the actual cost.
Yeah, but it was that other word you said, and then $100,000 a year after that, just to maintain it?
Yes.
It's, partly budget, but it's all a bunch of things that's not going to be easy to administer or, easy for citizens to accept. The one thing that, understand is not us. This is one of those things that get shoveled down to the counties from the state. So if you want to call it an unfunded mandate or just a mandate or whatever it is, you know, the counties have no say or choice in that.
And Baco is bringing this up in this upcoming session.
Oh, so that'd be funding.
Yeah, more funding for it.
Mr. Chairman, we talked about effort to educate the public that this is state mandate. Also, the soil erosion control mandate, although they're related in that they deal with water, they're two different things. That correct, Mr. Dalton?
They are.
The one is gonna be more on the shoulders of the developer or builder of a home, that being soil erosion. So we need to make sure we get good publication from our newsletter and good publication from the press of what this really is. This is not something the Board of Supervisors just dreamed up. It passed down from Richmond, and we don't have an option. They are not the same thing, only they are related.
Well, I think it goes back to right now, though, we do have to accept this grant, take what we can get. Mr. Horny? Aye. And aye, thank you.
Second item, to accept the litter prevention and recycling program grant in the amount of $9,846.
Anyone have any questions there, Mr. Reed?
Is this for something we've done or something we're going to do?
It's an annual contribution we use to offset the salaries.
Any other questions? Mr. Horny? Aye.
Yeah.
And aye, thank you.
Third item, to transfer $5,342 from the police activity fund to the general fund and to amend and appropriate the same to 3102-46010. These funds will receive from storage fees incurred for seized vehicles. So we're just switching money from one account to another.
Any questions? Mr. Hall?
Yeah.
And aye, thank you.
Fourth item, to amend and appropriate $14,741 to 8102-45230 for the cost incurred with relocating utility lines for the Whetstone Road and Vineland Lane Road construction. That is relocating, water lines, but the money was counted in there, so it doesn't up the amount of taxes that the people pay. It just, it's already there.
Have we set the final rate for those folks yet?
We don't have the final cost from VDOT
That's what
to
it
set
is,
the
yeah.
final rate on it, but that number, the 14,000, was within our budget of the utility relocation cost.
So that was already planned in.
Where is that project? Can I ask, is that about done there?
It's pretty close to finished, if it's not.
It's paved or primed and sealed, all I've done. I went through there this weekend.
Okay. All right, we ready to vote? Mr. Horny? Aye. And aye, 7-0.
Fifth item, to accept the 2012 Emergency Management Performance Grant in the amount of $13,017.
Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Hall? Aye. And aye, 7-0.
Sixth item, to amend and appropriate donations in the amount of $500 to 7109-43600 to cover the fees for radio coverage for the youth football Super Bowl. So again, that's donations that we received. We're just putting it in the proper line account.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, if I'm correct, I'm trying to pull that one up.
Okay.
I think it's only $100.
Well, I thought that 100 was already in there and he needed the other side. Something about pay the fee?
I thought one check was $100 written, was to the county, and the other $400 was written directly to the radio station.
That's kind of the way I read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one check came to us, amended budget, $100. So instead of $500, it's just a $100 amendment appropriation. Page 81 is his letter.
All right, well, then we would like to amend that motion. It was $500 involved total, but only $100 needs to be, transferred. So we will amend that, to say $100 instead of $500.
Everyone understand what we're doing?
Yes.
Call for the vote, anybody? All right. Mr. Horner? And aye, thank you, 7-0.
And finally, number 7, to approve the memorandum of understanding between the town of Whitfield and Whit County for the 2012 Visitors Guide and to include reviews by Whit County prior to printing. And that's this, as it says, the Visitors Guide, that the county is going to be more closely involved in that and more county information. And so we
6 extra pages.
what?
It's 6 pages.
Mhm.
And
To the Visitors Guide.
What is our cost on that?
$12,000.
And how much do they say it's gonna be?
80.
That's a bunch.
Total cost, whether we're participating or not, they include the postage, sending it out, which they would pay whether we participate or not. But I think the printing cost is $40-some thousand.
All right. Coming from the committee with need no second, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, thank you. We can move now down to the county administrator's report.
We have in the package is final revisions that need to be made in the salaries, FICA, VRS retirement, health insurance, VRS group life insurance, unemployment, workman's comp. And also an increase of $1,934 of comp board money into part-time temporary salaries.
All right. Gentlemen, I think we had an opportunity to meet with the clerk concerning this, and this is just to get it straightened out with the Bruce, is that correct? Yeah. That it's in the right accounts. Is there a motion?
I will make that motion to get it on the board for discussion.
Second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. All right. The chair is now open for discussion. We're a quiet bunch on this one here. Mr. Dalton, you want to speak to it first then, please, sir?
I'll do my best. Mr. Grant sent me this email from the, to adjust all these salaries based off the final approvals of the new salaries changes that we had in our budget. But we had previously included in the budget the projected savings of about $20,000 from those early retirements. And this just gets everybody, all those budget items into the proper amounts. So in the salaries, it's a net reduction of $675.10 under those items. But there's also an increase of $1,934 in the part-time, because
What was the reason, I guess, for the health insurance in 3556 increase?
The reason for that is we've anticipated it was 10 months of the new positions, or 9 months, and it was 10 months. Yes.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'm gonna call for the vote. Hall.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 7-0, thank you. County Attorney's report.
Nothing to report at this time unless you have any questions.
Do you have any questions for the county attorney? All right, we'll move to the consent calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, now, is there any discussion? I think, this is where we've got Mr. Crockett's concerned.
Mr. Chairman, if you would, on this point, there was an amended consent calendar. Page 2.
Is all it is changing the account number?
Yes.
Okay, then I would move that we use the amended consent calendar to the correct account number on it.
Okay. Who was the second on that? So that is with your approval? Yes. Okay, thank you.
As far as Mr. Repays, what, Sam, would you come and explain that one more time? Is she supposed
There was-
to, we got to put her on the consent calendar? Or is it, as far as,
Change the pay. We know we changed it.
Whether it's comp board pay, whether it's county, it's gotta be on there.
Yes.
She didn't get approved, Swell didn't approve her request that I put into the comp board. It was $1,391 of comp board money left over from Mrs. Smith. It was already in the budget at the comp board. We used most of Miss Smith's money for Miss Fisher, who was promoted up to the full comp board position. She was a full county position. And there was $1,381 of money left over from Miss Smith. And I got the comp board to give that to Ms. Repass. And half of that would be county money, or $690 a year is what it costs the county to do it. But the extra, stress and stuff we put on the office with this early retirement, I just think it's worthwhile to give it to her. I know it's, it's spending extra money, but, somebody with 40 years' experience in the county is, I mean, we'd be well worth our time to give her the input. I know Swell wants to get rid of her, but I don't want to get rid of her. No, you did. You said it at the retirement party, your goal was to get rid of her, and I hope this is not how you're planning on doing it.
I assume that was tongue in cheek.
I don't know. But anyway, I just tried to get Ms. Repass a little increase in pay. She's done extra work since this early retirement thing has gone through. It's been a mess in the office, to be honest with you. So that's what it was for. It was comp board money. They have already approved it. They've got it in the budget in her name. The county has to pay half of it. So, I mean, which would be all it is $690 a year.
If the county doesn't pay half, then there's no money.
there's no money. You don't approve it, I guess comp board take it back out there.
Sam, does this, all of Miss Fisher's salary now comp board, and it used to be Park County?
It used to be all county, now it's comp board, which is half and half.
Okay, so that salary rate, the county's paying half of that.
That's correct. You pay half of all comp board salaries, except for the constitutional officer, and I think that's about an 80-20 split. 80% by the state and 20 for the localities for constitutional officer. But the employees it's a 50-50 split.
Ms. Dawson, you want to explain your logic too, also?
I guess my logic is that I was following the same logic that we did with the circuit court. But when that changed over, we've been paying more than our 50%. We passed this salary for years. And the intent of that early retirement was to recover as much of those funds as possible. And that's exactly the reason.
Well, the amount that you're paying more than her 50% is $400 a year, I think. And that came from one time where they gave pay raises as a flat amount of money prorated out, which just messed everybody up. We used to have pay scales, and it just blew that out of the water. And they were giving people, I think, $800, and based on your salary, you got a portion of it. And I think her portion is like $400 or something like that. That's the extra money that she gets from the county. I don't have the exact, well, I think I got it back there.
And I think over the years we've given other raises.
Well, you've given other raises, I agree to that.
100%.
I agree to that, you've given other raises too. But I just think that, for the extra efforts and stuff that we've had to go through, she's had to put in a.
And she got a raise though this year anyway, did she?
Well, everybody got that.
But that's, yeah, I didn't know if you
And that's-
should get that.
I got a question about that too.
All right.
Talking with Fred Parker from Washington County, everybody in my office, their salary actually went down, $15, $20, something like that.
The regular salary.
Yeah, the regular take-home salary went down. But I thought it was supposed to be like 5% for VRS and then a portion of it for FICA. Fred was telling me, all their rates, all they do in Washington County, their salary went up about 0.8% or 0.6% or something, what Fred was talking about. And ours all went down. So, I mean, I don't know if we've got that calculated right or not. But theirs did go up in Washington County, is what Fred told me.
According to Mr. Grant, it has to do with, I think it's the life insurance, has to do with something in life insurance, that's why everybody's went down. It doesn't have anything to do with VRS.
Why is life insurance?
And the premiums on life insurance go up.
That's a state.
Actually, VRS life insurance, they enacted a portion, for years it had been forgiven, the employee portion. This year they reenacted it, and the employee had to pay the portion of the life insurance. That's the reason the check went down, not because we gave not the 5%, the state mandated the 6%.
I know, you gave 6%.
To take care of the FICA and everything. But
I knew that's what that was for, but it was just, I don't know about the insurance, but Fred and I were talking one day, and he said theirs went up, and I said, well, ours went down because of it. I just wonder what they did with their insurance.
Did they give the same percentage?
Yeah, they got 6% also. And that, you know, most counties did the 6% to cover the FICA. But anyway, but that's the story on this repass. The money was approved by the comp board, and half of it would be the county's responsibility, $690 a year.
But you lose that money if you don't.
Yeah, I guess we would.
You're definitely.
I don't know.
lose that money.
I'll just have to ask Bill Fussell. You know, whether it comes out, they don't give it to her, or it stays in there, I don't know. I'm not sure.
your base that's changed, Sam, from my understanding from them. I talked to Ms. Sophia, whatever her name is, that's Robin.
Right.
That that's still, you still have your base. Month is when you ask it to be put over into part-time, whatever, and you don't lose it. And that's what you don't do.
Well, I'd rather give them this repass. I think,
Do you have the power to do that? Either.
no, you all have to do that. Y'all have to prove your half of it. I mean, it's already in her name, it's coming on the coin reports, it's in her name from the top board already.
Well, Solell lost me when he said something about the base. Can that money be rolled over to part-time then, is that what you're saying?
I would suggest that we get Bruce to run a sheet, so everybody can look at what she's currently getting paid, what the proposal is, so that you can look at the real thing.
The comp board base is, I think, 39,393 or something, is what the comp board base is for her. And that's including the new rate, the $1,380 is in that rate of 39,393.
And she didn't get any kind of promotion with all the switching around.
No, she didn't.
She was number one anyway, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's our deputy coroner and is the highest paid person. But no, she did not get any promotion, you know, Pam did, she stayed, but, you know, Debbie didn't get anything out of it. I'm just trying to help her out, get her some more money.
I think something that's said about being consistent, we've got to be consistent.
I agree.
With all five of the constitutional offices. So if we run a report there, we may want to see it for all of the constitutional. That's just my opinion.
I think that's a good opinion. You might want to put that form of motion.
I don't know if there's any motion.
Do we need a motion for that? Don't just do it? No, okay. Then we're gonna do that, and then we'll get back. We'll probably either have a session with the budget committee or the full board, we can do either way.
Actually, you will have a full board meeting next Thursday.
When?
It's Thursday morning.
Next Thursday morning, right here. Yes.
Well, I just hope $690 is not gonna kill the county.
Well, I think,
Hard.
all of us would agree with that, but, you know, we gotta be fair with everybody, and I think you understand that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, set work session for school construction.
I'm sorry.
Something else with consent
I don't
calendar?
think we approved it.
We did not, thank you, Sarah.
And that's what the assistant's for.
That's right.
We have a motion and a second.
And that's as a amendment, right?
Yeah.
As amended. All right, all in favor of the fact of consent calendar, let's go to roll call vote, Ms. Hall. And aye, thank you. Did involve money. All right, set a work session, I think we've done that now, is that correct?
9:30 on November the 1st.
Mr. Twenty, I don't know if you were in here when we did discuss that, but it was 9:30 on November the 1st.
Hey, Mr. Morny, on your desk, I think, it played a cost estimate. Cost estimate.
Got it?
And also the thing about you have a set of plans, be prepared to talk about with your comments on those plans.
Yes, sir.
Revenue sharing projects.
Mr. Chairman, you have before you an email from Matthew Cox and myself concerning a group of revenue sharing projects that we've discussed in various committees. What we decided to do was put it on the regular agenda of the board, since not all some of the people or districts that requested some of these cost estimates and to have a chance to discuss them. Today, what the board needs to do is decide which one of these projects we will make an application for by November the 1st. Projects won't be awarded until next year. There's no penalty asking for a project to be placed on the request. But it's only fair that we only make requests that we think we have a possibility of funding. I would suggest, for various reasons, number one, that the citizens of Bertha Farms Road and this Hogwalla, whatever that, Bearwalla, and Connors Valley, that you ask for that money, knowing full well that they have the final decision of whether to move forward with it or not. Because they have to present a petition to you, they have to get enough support in their own community. We've got to calculate some tax rates for them to make that decision. And obviously, if we don't ask for the money now, then we delay it one additional year.
These projects would be done with the tax base where the citizens would pay their half?
Yeah.
Okay. The bottom three?
The bottom, yeah.
That's where we are right now. The chairman has told me before, if we find the money, that we wouldn't do it that way. That, in my opinion, is arcane and wrong, but that's why we don't agree on everything. What about the Major Rim Road? Is there any problem of putting that in the basket just in case Weaver agrees to pay for it?
And we don't have the cost estimate, Joe?
Well, if they're as good as these others, just pick one.
Which one you want to pick?
It's very easy, you know, I bet you know the distance that we're talking about there. And, there is some drainage problems, but not like there is on Archer Road, but just surface treatment that road and paving place is acceptable with revenue sharing in it.
If it is, the way I understand this trail is, if that road is deemed rural rustic by VDOT, it is eligible for rural rustic under these guidelines, that you can pay in place with spot improvements to get the minimum of 16 feet.
Yeah.
The difference, and that's true for Connors Valley, and it would be true for Grahams Forest. However, it's not true for Bertha Farms or Fairville, because if they have, since those are private roads, they have to be brought up to the minimum standards of the state, which means there's 18-foot pavement, ditches, banks, etc. Grahams Forest and Connors Valley would be improved and in place. They allow existing state roads to be down to that minimum of 16-foot width, shading the banks for sight distances. So it's a different kind of cost estimate.
Well, the Bearwall really is a new road in an old location. That right of way of the road appears to have been there for hundreds of years. It's not even a road now, so obviously it's not a road improvement, it's a road creation. But it will free up all those people that are virtually landlocked in Meadowview. They can get in and out, but they don't have a right of way. So this for $500,000, which I think is a handsome number, because it's one of those few places that the topo and what's there is just begging to put a road there. It's one of those roads that somebody with a hand level and a tape and a good grade man could put a road through there in about 2.5, 3 weeks. But if we're going by a formula and a template that VDOT's using, the best way to kill a project is get the budget too high to start with. And you and I have had this conversation. With revenue sharing money, it also allows the county to be the project manager, is that correct?
It does.
And we know we can save a lot of money if the county will take on that burden, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I'm listening to you.
All right. So we got five, the first two projects, the county is the revenue sharing partner, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we've got three that would involve citizens on these roads.
I will report on the Bertha Farms Road. Of course, we've had meetings with them. I think Joe and Corey attended that meeting. I sent them cost estimates. The original cost estimate was lower, and we kind of told them that because they had come back to the stormwater management facility changes. And so it increased $60,000 or $70,000. I have sent that revised figure to them. They are considering it. It made their rate, I think it's close to 90 cents. So they are concerned that it probably would not proceed, but they just got these numbers when we got them last Wednesday, sent them to them, so they're still negotiating it. So I agree, it's definitely one that I would recommend going ahead and applying for. They may or may not be able to proceed with it.
If we apply for any of these, then we can amend later. I mean, we can choose to do it or not to do it.
Exactly.
But I'm going back to that statement where you said we should only apply for what we think we're planning to do. There's a pot of money out there. Let's talk about the first two. I'm talking about the counties. That one is, for those turn lanes, that's $1,113,000 each.
I would not apply for the turn lane. I would ask for the widened B-Lee Trinkle Road. Because any project, we're gonna have the road paved out of D-Lee Trinkle to Lot 24, 1910. In any project that comes, there'll be a 1-year time lapse to do that. Each one of those will have specific requirements for turn lanes based on truck volume, car volume, etc. So any project for the turn lanes, I think you have adequate time to get a future revenue sharing request. The E-Trinkle lane issue is that I would ask for it at this point in time. You got 5 years. The time frame for Lot 24 is 5 years. So it makes sense that you have it in your pocket and do it within the 5 years, the same time frame that we've been told that we will locate an industry on Lot 24. You have it ready, and you can tell the prospective industry as they come in the door, we've got the money in hand and can move forward. The turn lanes themselves for Lot 1 or those other things, those two, and E-Trinkle that went into Lot 1, we don't know what will be there. So I wouldn't apply for those two turn lanes. I would apply for the Fairwalk, Congress Valley, and the Bertha Farms, and the E-Lee Trinkle. Obviously, we don't know if it'll go. Whether, how the board decides to do those after a future discussion in next year's budget, whether you do roads or not, you'll still have the money there available.
There's no penalty for not accepting it.
There's no penalty for applying. You're not gonna get the money until you vote and send the check.
When it comes to Congress Valley, are we looking at estimate one, or the other two estimates are quite a bit more,
Yeah.
to the tune of $1 million, more, or 900,000, so I would assume it would be.
That's correct, Dean.
Yes, there's two
Yes.
estimates.
And this template is probably, none of them are gonna fly with the number that people are being asked to raise their taxes. It is an additional 7-year tax, as y'all know, to whatever the basic rate is. And in both cases, Stephen, it puts it over $1 for the next 7 years. Now, obviously, the people that have a building lot and a nice home, they're probably gonna be up for it. But to one individual down there that owns multi-hundreds of acres and has a very new farm tractor, he don't care whether that road ever gets fixed or not. And the impact to him is much greater than that person. So the whole thing is the way we've always done business, but that don't make it right.
That 51% is land value, land.
Has to be greater than 50% of the land mass.
But one person can block it off.
50% of the revenue, or 50% of the landowners.
And that's what I just said in a different way. That's the way you've always done these things, but that don't make it right. That one landowner can block that whole valley from happening.
But that's not that's the state of Code of Virginia.
Well, I know that.
Let's change the code. There was,
The procedure is the code, but there's more than one way available to achieve some of these road repairs. Now, for eons, we haven't done anything for secondary and rural roads. I think there's got to be a way that we can start this task, even if it's a baby step. Tell these people their tax rate's gotta go over $1. It's not gonna happen. So it's an exercise in futility to say, here's the pot, and then let them say, but we can't afford it. There's got to be a different way that we can achieve this other than the way you've always done it.
But if the developer himself had put the road in, you'd pay for it through the lot.
Pardon?
If the developer had put the road in correctly, and hard serviced it, and so forth, would you have paid extra for the lot if you'd built out there near that? So
Well,
since you'd be paying for it one way or the other.
Now, and the way that you put that, we're talking about subdivision and a lot, and I agree with it. But Connors Valley Road has been there for 250 years. It's truly a rural road. Now, we're getting development in that area, and we get to tax that development. So,
Well, back when the state was doing them, I understand that Connors Valley was all ready to go until they got to the bridge when Mr. Dalton, and the landowner blocked it at that time, and the state would paid it off. So, that's not saying it's right or wrong, but it's just.
but it doesn't,
it happened.
the other people that didn't block it still have made heavy dollar investments to have a home in a rural area in Wood County, because a lot of things, with Texas being one of them, beautiful area, but they do not have a reliable road. If we get over 1.5 inches of rain, VDOT spends another $500,000 putting the road back. And that's one of the things that we have no control over. They will spend $500,000 fixing the road every year that could be fixed permanently for $500,000. I don't get that. Economy of scale is just not there in the way they think. But we have no control over that.
So, the way I hear it, based on a recommendation, is that we would go with widening Lee Trinkle, Market Farms, Barwalla, and Connors Valley, estimate number 1, apply for those. That was based on a recommendation from Mr. Dalton.
that's what I would do, but they're not in my district. I mean, most of them are in, 2 of them's in Joe's and one's in court.
All over.
And we
I'll
didn't
make
feel
that
it.
motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Tim has made a motion, is there a second?
I don't have a problem with it as long as it's not our money, as long as we're not paying for it, because in my opinion, if we're gonna start paving roads, then we need to, before we start looking at new roads, we need to go back and look at what we had on the 6-year plan that we took off. They're the ones that need to be done first.
But we would be looking at Trinkle.
Well, that one's different, because that's for.
That's just involved.
Well, that scratches our back. That's why it's different.
Right.
Okay.
Well, hopefully that attracts everybody in the county. back.
Hopefully it gets jobs in here and it keeps our tax rates low, so. But I mean, as long as this money is not county money for these other roads, then I can agree with it.
The difference when the treacle extension, Joe, is that when it comes time, we'll ask for TROP or Governor's Opportunity to fund it, our half, instead of us funding it. That's the difference. We will not have a penny in that treacle extension. That's always, the county, of all the roads in the park out there, doesn't have a penny, not one local penny in those roads.
And that's great.
And that's the way it should be.
That's great.
I mean, so it's different. I agree with Gene, it's different. And maybe for the same reason, the greed portion, it brings more dollars into the county, but it doesn't take any dollars.
Well, listen, since we're having this open discussion at the chairman's expense, because he wanted to get out of here early, I didn't start this.
We're gonna stay till it's over, okay?
How much problem would it be just to relieve our minds, mine especially, if you ask VDOT for a breakdown per district, how much unsurfaced road we got? It appears to me and most of the people in the eastern part of Wood County that Mr. Houseman and others have represented the western end of the county much better for many years. There's more paved roads out there. Coy and I've got most of the unpaved roads. If that's not true, give us some science and numbers that says it's not.
Well, that's why I say there's 100 of public roads, state maintained, halfway state maintained, portion.
Unmaintained.
That are unmaintained. I think the last map was 190 some miles. How much of that's in each district? It'll take a little bit of research to come up with that. 190 some miles of unpaved.
In Rip County only.
Yeah. So there's an enormous amount.
We have counties in Virginia that have 0 miles of unpaved road.
Lee County. Or Wise County.
Well, some like Henrico and those middle counties where they have used revenue sharing money to the fullest extent. Now, I understand where Gene's coming from, don't spend any county money. That's just something we've got to work our way through, and I'm not gonna quit.
Well, no, I'm not against spending county money for roads, but I'm just saying if we do, we need to go back and pick up the ones that's on the 6-year plan before we start adding more.
But really, I don't care where we start, just if we start. That's what I've been talking about, a baby step. If the next year's budget, if we did 1 mile of that 192 miles, I'll be quiet and be happy. But to just keep putting it, with the current political term is kicking it down the road. This road's getting pretty long, it's 192 miles of unpaved road. That costs to run school buses, it costs people to maintain their vehicles. Sheriff's Department won't even run a car on them because they get dirty and they gotta wash them. And it just goes on and on of this cost for unpaved roads. I'm done.
But you're just talking about the roads that qualifies for a little rustic.
No, I'm talking about all the roads being in a plan. I don't have a problem if we do rural rustic first, because that's where the biggest pot of money is. But I wouldn't want to qualify, if it don't qualify for rural rustic, that we never do it. But they all
But you're
be
talking
first.
about more money if it's,
Yeah,
if it's gotta be
our
stuff
road
like that.
needs done.
I think if we did all those, we have a bigger deficit than a lot.
Well, we don't know. We've never approached this, Mr. Chairman, with a positive attitude of the county being the project manager, which we're qualified right now. Got a good group of people to do that. I know from history we can save at least a third and maybe half if the county is the project manager. It doesn't change the money source any at all. It just cuts the overall bill of taking that administrative part away from VDOT. Is that correct, Mr. Dalton?
you're assuming that we can do it more efficient.
Yes, that's correct. By history, not assuming he gets back.
Mr. Chairman, since Mr. Hill said he was through, I've got a question.
Okay.
You did say you were through.
Yeah, okay. I have a motion properly seconded that we add Ely Trinkle, Berkeley Farms, Firetown Road, Connors Valley, estimate number 1. I think we better take a roll call vote on this. Mr. Horning? And aye. Thank you. We'll move down to any other new business. Sheriff, did you have an opportunity to read over that contract?
I'll, give y'all a brief explanation on it.
All right.
This is from, the funding source for this is from the Cliff Land Foundation. And it is for a needs assessment for Cliff County, Blaine County, Town of Whitfield, and Town of Woodley Creeks. The needs assessment has to be provided by a DCGS approved contractor, and there was only one bid from a DCGS approved contractor. And it was in a total of $55,000. Payments to the contractor would be in 3 parts. Receipt of the board and invoice, delivery of the preliminary report to me and to the board of supervisors, and then to the final report. What it addresses is what needs to happen in the future to keep us up to date in our equipment and personnel. And once again, it's a multi-jurisdiction effort.
So I assume each jurisdiction has to vote to approve it, or?
No, Wood County is fiscal agent, actually, the grant team, to the county. The sheriff's office made the applications. The agreement here is if you can make an application, you do all the work, we'll pay the fee.
Right.
After we get the money. That's our part of it. His part is to administer the grant in accordance with the grant conditions. And the county attorney put the sheriff's name. I'm not sure that it should be mine, but the chairman's. But I read it. I didn't see anything wrong.
I see no problems with the contract, other than your suggestion of the completion side.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't sure that needs to be.
I would think, well, since it is in the county's pot money.
So we don't need a motion to accept it and change it to resolve this administrative.
Authorize him to sign.
Authorizing the sign.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
Any other discussion concerning it? Since it does involve money, we'll need a roll call vote. Mr. Call? Aye. 6-4, 1 absent.
And I hope your baggage was feeling better.
I hope so too.
It looked pretty bad there a while back.
It's better than yesterday.
Better than this, it'll be better tomorrow, right?
I'm hoping.
Any other business come before the board today?
Mr. Chairman, one item we'll bring before, we've, with the New River Valley Regional Water Authority, since its creation, we've used the town of Whitfield as the personnel policy. One of the things that came out in their meetings with New River Regional Water Authority, we could not, we had too much staff, we were gonna trim our staff. The town personnel policy prohibits us from doing that. We had somebody on staff for 4 months that wasn't budgeted, didn't need it. I made a motion that was approved by the New River Regional Water Authority with county's personnel policy, so those people would be under with county personnel policy now. And we will do the payroll for them as part of that, and the regional water will pay us back on a monthly basis for that payroll cost. And we
action on it, accept that, or?
It'd be nice if you would.
Can I have a motion that we will take over the fiscal responsibilities of New River Regional?
No, not fiscal.
Personnel.
Personnel, but if we're gonna be paying it in that fiscal too, we're paying it.
Now, there's other bills. We don't want any part of that.
And they're gonna take care of that at New River. Okay, we just take care of the personnel. Okay.
And I'll make that as a motion.
All right.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Mr. Dodd, was there anything else concerning, back and forth with,
Road retreat,
yeah,
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Road retreat to Whittle Water, initially it came up, a change order number 2, I believe it is, that goes up to the upper dairy area, by the Boy's house. It also included going up A-frame Drive. I've been working for the, as hard as I can on it. What has happened, rural development originally rejected. They will now have agreed to it. The only, of course, part of that, they're requiring us to pay the remobilization fee for the contractor, $5,145 county dollars. I told them I could not agree with that without board of supervisors approval. So I will request that authorize expenditure of $5,141 out of the water department fund to pay for remobilization, so they will sign off on this change order and get the water to A-frame Drive and out the upper dairy.
Yeah, I'll make that as a motion.
second? All right. And actually, it's gonna cost us $5, but we're gonna gain $300,000 to do that. Is that correct?
All the money that's left to go up, pick those customers up, is grant money. So, I guess $5,000 to $300,000.
Pretty good spot.
I apologize, that's the best I could do.
That's fine. We're gonna be able to get water to people desperately need.
I got a motion, did you? Is there a second? What's our second? All right, we'll call for the vote. Good morning.
Yeah.
And aye. Yes, sir.
What's the status on, sticker ordinance? We set up another public
The
hearing.
public hearing will be in December. We have an oddball, y'all don't meet on Tuesday, the normal time, and we didn't advertise it because of that. It's a Wednesday meeting in November, so we've just delayed advertising until the 1st of December. And the public hearing for that will be the second Tuesday in December, the night meeting. And I guess the last item, Mr. Hale asked me to invite Mr. Cook, George Cook, Meadview Estates, as a matter of fact, to our meeting. Mr. Cook and I played phone tag. He is out of town a lot. And I left him a message on his phone inviting him to a meeting. He's called, I've called, he's called back. Joe, if there's any chance